My name's Tara, and I'm addicted to anything like me high.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know why I'm so nervous. Probably because, I'm in Las Vegas, which is weird.
It's me.
It's fine. My sobriety date's December 19th of 2005. I have a sponsor who's here with me. Yeah. I have sponsees who are here with me, and I have grand sponsees who are here with me, which is really cool. I work the 12 steps. I have a home group. My home group is the Misfits in Phoenix. And, Misfits, right? We're all just misfits, so, it's good. I try to carry this message and do what was described in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I got here at the ripe old age of 23. So it has been a beautiful experience. I actually have been sober now longer than I got loaded, which is fucking cool, man. It's really cool. Matter of fact, I was looking back on it, and I was like, man, I've had so many crazy, great sober experiences that I can remember. It's so great. I've actually come here a couple times sober. The one time I came here before, I was not sober, and it was horrible. You know what I mean? I had a horrible experience, but I come here and I'm sober and I have a great experience. So, I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm supposed to let God take over, so I may ramble for just a minute. I will tell you, though, that the first time that I drank, I was 13. I'm from Helena, Montana. And my boyfriend and I decided to skip school, and I took my best friend and her boyfriend, and it was a good idea to break in the parents' liquor cabinet. Anybody do that? Just a couple? Fucking liars. It's fine. And so we did, and my first drink was brandy, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank. You know what I mean? That first drink, it made me feel good, so the bottle was going to make me feel great. And that's pretty much my life with drinking, drugs, with anything. I mean, the whole shebang. I don't think I've ever known what one was. The idea of one was always cool, but that was unachievable, And even way back then, the very first time I drank like an alcoholic, you know what I mean? So we got drunk and I fell over, and because that's what I do when I'm drunk. I think I'm a great time, man. I'm probably the only one who thinks that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else has fun when I'm around. Because you have to babysit me because I black out and pee all over people. It's just one of those things, It's great. And then people want to tell you about it the next day. It's fuck, dude, why are you... Talk about my bad life choices. You're my friend. That's your choice. You know what I'm saying? So, But anyway, so I fell over, and my boyfriend he was trying to help me up, and he tripped and he fell over and he hit his head on the corner of a coffee table, and he cut his head open and he was bleeding everywhere, and he started throwing up and he went unconscious, and I can remember thinking in my mind, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, right? So we stuck him on a sled and we drug him to the side of the road, and we left him there. That was my first boyfriend, and he died of alcohol poisoning that day, which is crazy. And it's yeah, dude, that's fucking tragic, man. But the truth is it's that doesn't make me an alcoholic, and it certainly doesn't make me a drug addict. You know what I mean? Bad experiences in my life do not make me an addict or an alcoholic. That's not what happens, The fact is, what I explained in the very beginning, when I put it in my body, I can't control the amount that I take in. That tells me right there that I'm an alcoholic. And so, I didn't use drugs until I was 14. Waited a whole year. No, I'm just joking. It was 4 months. And immediately I started getting in trouble. I just, my life just took off in this horrible direction because I remember the way that it made me feel, and it talks about us having this spiritual sickness, and I don't know about you guys, but I didn't come into these rooms thinking that I was spiritually sick. I just was man, I just want to stop eating all this dope all the time, and I want to not have abscesses all over my body, and I just really, really, really want to not be on probation for the rest of my life, because that's really what it looked like for me, and that's not really what happened, the spiritual sickness that I suffer from, even way back then, it says that, like I'm having trouble with personal relationships. And I was like, my first, and it's funny because I'll explain to you why I knew that I was messed up even way back then. So when I was 14, I got in a whole bunch of trouble. I got awarded to the state, and I went to 3 different treatment centers. By the time I was 15, I was released, and I went into a halfway house for a year. I come out of there thinking I know stuff. I don't know about you guys. You guys think you know stuff when you're out there too? Like I'm the smartest person around. I just do really dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think I know stuff, and I meet this guy, and of course, like men are just like a drug for me. So I meet this guy in the drive-thru, right? And it's a match made in heaven, and so I get pregnant, and don't judge. It was in a small town. Just saying. Anyway, so I ended up getting pregnant, and I can remember thinking like, no. Right? No, my life is over, and I was going to go get an abortion, and I wanted nothing to do with this, and my mom talked me into it, and she had these ideas about what it was that she was going to help me with, which my ideas didn't line up with, because when she said, I'm going to help you, I thought that meant you're going to take the baby, and that meant I could keep going, and that's not what she meant. It was like diapers once a year. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a little different. Anyway, but when I'm going through the process of being pregnant, I was only pregnant that I knew of for 4 months, because I had been using and drinking the whole first couple of months. I had no idea that I was pregnant, and I ended up having him a month early. So it was about 4 or 5 months that I was actually knew I was pregnant, and I was on the marijuana maintenance program, because I can't actually stop using everything. But pot is from the earth, so I have some justifications there, And so I end up, having this kid, and I know that, I've seen Hallmark movies, you know what I mean? Like, you have a baby, and Jesus rays are supposed to come out of your head, and all of a sudden the glory of God is supposed to spring forth from this child. And I held this kid, and I didn't feel anything. And it was the one time in my life that I really realized how absolutely messed up and disconnected I was. Because the one person in the world I should be able to have a connection with is this child that I had literally growing inside of me, And I just didn't feel it, and that's what it's talking about when it's talking about that spiritual sickness that I suffer from. I'm having trouble with personal relationships. I cannot connect with another human being, and the only way that I can connect with another human being is when I act like I'm somebody else, And so I continue in this life, and I take this kid into this drug-induced life, because I know that there's you're not supposed to get high and breastfeed, so I'm not going to breastfeed, right? Just makes sense. He can be bottle fed. I was bottle fed. I'm totally fine, right? And so, debatable, right? Anyway, I'm taking this kid into this lifestyle with me, and eventually what happens is I move to Phoenix, right? And I'm like, yes, man, I'm gonna do good in Phoenix. Montana was my problem. There's just no drugs in Phoenix. It's gonna be really good, right? They have palm trees and it's hot. Fuck yeah. And I was never see the snow again, right? That's amazing. Who wants to see snow? Not me. I'm from there. No. And so, I go down this path where I start using again, and I start drinking again, And I don't even want to say that I've gotten connected with crystal meth yet at this point in time. I had done crank for a lot. I had done a whole shit ton of acid, but I had not met crystal meth yet. You know what I mean? So I come down here, and I'm introduced to this substance, and suddenly I was cured of my alcoholism. Anybody have that? Where you don't want to drink anything, even water? Yeah. It's hard to poop. Just saying. Anyway, so I come here and I meet this substance, and man, I was just taken in with it. I was just totally overwhelmed by it. And it was funny because, like, I didn't use crystal meth for that long, but I went from snorting it to smoking it, because that was classier, right? I don't know. And then I went to eating it, and I'm scared of needles, so I never actually took it to the point where I was injecting it, but I was, like, eating it all the time, and to the point that, like, I couldn't see straight, you know what I mean? And I was one of those people that, like, I'd try to get that high. Like, I got so high I was scared that I almost died. Like, it felt like my heart was going to blow up. And every single time I got high after that, that's what I went for. Like, let's see how far I can go before my heart actually fucking explodes. And it's crazy that, like, while I'm doing this kid is with me, right? This little tiny baby child is with me, and he's growing up. I swear to God, God gave me an old soul. You know what I mean? And He does that with us addicts. My kid took care of me a lot when I was out there, and I can remember we were getting kicked out of this place, and I'm packing up this apartment, and he's like, God, I want to say he was like 4 or 5, and I'm going around the room, and I'm throwing stuff, because it's like I have to be out in an hour, because I never planned to be evicted, right? But, God, I didn't pay my rent for 3 months, and you're kicking me out? This is a shocker. Dang it, now I have to pack, and I have to be out in an hour. And so I'm, like, running around, crazed, right? Like, insane. I'm so high, and I have to pack all my stuff in boxes, and I'm throwing things in boxes, and he's running after me, and he's taking the things out of boxes after me. And I turn to him, and I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he says, I am so stressed out. And he's 5. You know what I mean? What 5-year-old says that? My kid. Because that's the life that I lead with my child, That's how far down I go, And it's crazy that, that he survived as many times as he did, honestly, because, like, I just did not care, and so my life got pretty dark pretty fast. I called his dad. He came and picked him up, and I continued into my disease. And, just things got worse and worse, and I get into relationship after relationship after relationship, and I like to go up the dope chain ladder. So we meet the guy that sells little bags, and then we meet his dealer, and then we meet his dealer, and we stop just short of the Mexican mafia. That's the dude we're going to date at the 3rd tier up. Just saying. He's going to be my boyfriend. And I don't like to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So I get this dude, and we're dating, and it's insane, and it's violent, and I'm one of those people that, like, I just lose my friggin' mind, and so we're in these horrible relationships, and just violent. And I can remember leaving, and thinking, I am never going back there again after being totally beaten up, and I'm covered in blood, right? And I'm like, I am never going back there again, and I'm sitting out at the bus stop, and there's this lady, and she comes up to me, and she says, well, what are you going to do, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, soul crushing, I have no idea. And so I decide that I'm going to go to the storage unit that my mom has been kind enough to pay for me, right? And I'm going to find something in there, and I'm going to hawk it. And I find, like, before I had given my son, like, I thought that, like, giving your kid, coloring books and notebooks and color crayons and giving him nice things, was the sign that I loved and I cared about you. I didn't realize that you had to actually be, like, a present parent, and so I go to this storage unit, and I find all of these notebooks inside my storage unit, and I open it up, and it was like being punched right in the throat, man, because this kid had drawn a whole notebook full of doors, right? And I don't know if you understand the significance of the doors when you're getting loaded, but I'm always behind it, and he's always on the other side knocking, asking me to come out. And yeah, it is mean. It's horrible, and that's what happened. And it was really hard on my soul, and I felt like wow, like God had really shown me something, you know? And it's funny because I feel that for a second, right? Like I feel the weight of my choices in that moment. And my disease is so strong that it's fleeting, you know? Because if my kids were enough to get me sober, or my job, or my relationship was enough to get me sober, I would have fucking done it by now, you know? And the truth is none of those things are strong enough, you know? And so I go to my mom's house and I fall out for a couple days, and I come to and I look out the window and I see these people going about their lives, right? And they're getting in their cars and they're driving to places and they're leading fulfilling lives, or at least that's the way it looks to me. You know what I mean? And I haven't had a job and I don't know how long, and I don't have a friggin' car. I have fucking a bicycle. You know what I mean? And I rode that thing rough, man. Just saying. And it was like, and I'm seeing these people live these lives, and I'm like, oh my God, like, God, please just help me be normal. And that was my prayer, man. That was my reaching out to God, right? And it's funny because like God didn't answer my prayers that day, but it must have been like a couple of days later, you know, December 19th, 2005. And I'm like behind Fry's. It was like, I think it was a week after that. And I'm behind Fry's and the cops pull up, and I don't run. Like, dude, I don't know about you guys, but I run a lot, and I'm a track star ninja, and I get away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will jump in garbage cans. I will hide in places you don't suspect. You know what I mean? I have no shame, and I don't care if I'm covered in shit. It don't matter. I will get away. And this is the one time I'm standing there, and I didn't run. Next, I get this. And they put me in the back of that cop car that day, and I can remember the feeling, like, because now I'm going to go to prison and it's going to be totally fine, you know? Because I don't know about you, but I had thought about stopping so many times. The idea of stopping made my skin crawl. And I could not handle it. And I would get more high, you know? And so here it was. I knew that I was running this life that was so uncomfortable, and like I hated every single day. And I used to always like joke about it when I was out there getting loaded, but I would say like, if you're in this life, you're in the resistance, right? Like not meaning like we're doing something crazy, but like your life is resistance. Every fucking step you take is actually like 5 steps backwards. And it doesn't feel like that, but you're fighting and fighting to move forward, and you can't move forward. And so that was what it was like when I was out there, you know? And here I am in the back of this cop car, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to take you in. And I'm like, okay, you know? And I go up in front of this judge, and I've been in drug court, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to do this stuff. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I didn't show up the first time because they want you to pee clean. And I don't know about you guys, but when you're high, you can't pee clean. And I'll just drop hot UAs, you know what I mean? Like I'll show up and pee dirty all day long. Give it to me. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. I don't know why. I always think that shit's going to just go away. It never does. So I go up in front of this drug court judge that I've absconded for the past year, and I remember I had this experience while I was in jail that my mom and her friend had come to visit me, and my mom had always said that she wouldn't come visit me and she wouldn't put any money on my books, and she basically said that if you get in trouble, you're on your own, you know. And she came in and visited me with her friend, and they opened my eyes up to the experience that there might be a God in this world, right? They pointed it out to me that the thing that had happened when I had been arrested was virtually an experience from God, and it kind of stunned me into reality, you know. And so I go up in front of this drug court judge, and I had more charges than everybody else, and I had absconded, so I'd been in drug court before, and I failed it, and she put everybody else in prison and let me go to this halfway house, and I was absolutely dumbfounded because that was not what I was expecting. And I go into this halfway house, and it's crazy because I go into this halfway house, and I don't know about you guys, but like I came into a couple meetings, and I was like, that's a lot. Like I'm smart. There's a 9th step there. That sounds horrible. Oh, I don't know, and God hates me, you know. And these are the things that I'm telling myself, and so I come here, and I don't think that this is going to work for me, like at all. I came here so that if I was around sober people, I was hoping that I would stay sober long enough that I would get off probation. And I come to this halfway house, and this lady walks in after a horrible day, and I'm crying, and there's like snot bubbles, and my hair's crazy, and I smell of the day, you know what I mean? And she says, "Oh, honey, everything's gonna be okay." And I asked her to sponsor me, and she's still my sponsor today, you know, and that's huge. And she takes me through these steps, right? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, so, all right, let's do this. Because you have to do the steps if you're in the halfway house. And I'm thinking, all right, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it 100%. And if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to go start using like a lady, right? Cute story, right? I know. I know, it's so nuts. But that's what I thought. I was like, I'm going to do it 100%. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to just go back and I'm going to get loaded again, and it's going to be totally fine. So I started doing these steps, and I got this job at Mervin's. You guys know about Mervin's? Good old Mervin's. And then my sponsor says, let's do step 4. It's cute. I work 20 hours a week, and I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? Bitches be busy. And suddenly I can't do my 4th step, you know? But the funny thing about it is that I've come to realize in this program is you're either moving forward or you're moving backward. And so I have a choice. What is that going to be? You know what I mean? And so I get to this point where I'm not moving forward, so I'm moving backward, and I suffer from entitlement. Anybody else? People owe me shit that don't even know me. You know what I mean? Like, y'all owe me. So I work at Mervin's, and I make $7 an hour, and I'm a retail queen. Just saying. I can fold sheets like nobody's business. Just saying. And $7 an hour? You like, at 20 hours a week? Come on. I should be making way more money. Hell yeah. And so I end up robbing Mervin's at 3 months sober. Because they owed me, you know? And I get caught because I've never been a good thief. I don't know why I thought I could get away with it. Like, it's so stupid. So I get caught, and I'm riding home on the bus that day, and I have to go back to my halfway house, and I have to tell him that I got fired for stealing. And I have prison looming over my head because this is my last chance with drug court, right? Like, I have to finish my drug court completely or I'm going to prison. And like everything in my body screams, get off the bus. Get off the bus. Get off the bus. Don't go home. Just go get high. Run away. Because that's what I do, man. I run away. I run away like crazy. When shit gets hard, I run away. That lady leaving, I get it, man. Do I get it? I used to run over everything. And like, I don't know what it was. No, I do know what it was. I didn't know what it was then, but I know what it was today. It was God putting his hand on me and making me stay on that bus. Because I went home and I told on myself, and I was grounded like a child. And it was fine, you know. It was fine until it was 7 o'clock at night, and in the neighborhood that we lived in, there was this little gang of Mexican children that were like 8, 9, 10 bastards, and they could stay out later than us, and they knew that, and they used to taunt us. So it was a lot of humility in that lesson. It was horrible. And I can remember thinking, those little bastards, where's your parents at? They're probably with us. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. Anyway, and so I started getting busy on my steps, you know, and I've had some amazing experiences here in these rooms that have changed the way that I've looked at things, that have changed the way that I've looked at life. And I ended up, you know, I had this kid, right, that his dad took from me, and he disappeared, and I didn't know where he went, and I hadn't seen him in like 2 years, and when I was about a year sober, I tried to reconnect with him, and he hung up on me and told me I was never going to see him again because I was a horrible mother, and I deserved that, you know, and I know that I deserved that because that was the truth at the time, and I just, honestly, man, I just wanted I wanted to pay him child support, and I wanted to see him for like 2 weeks out of the year. I wasn't even asking for anything crazy. And he told me all that, and I was like, this motherfucker, right? Like, I'm still kind of not spiritual, but I'm like, this motherfucker is going to withhold? Okay, fine. So I start saving up money, and I get an attorney, and I file for custody in Montana, which is where he went to. He went to a different city, and I flew up to Montana. First, I went into drug court, because I'm still on drug court, right? And I go up in front of the judge, and I tell the judge that I need a travel pass to travel to Montana to go kidnap my son. That's exactly what I said. I don't know why it came out like that, probably because I have a filter problem, but that's the way it came out. And she was like, granted. And I was like, what? Like, it was shocking. And I know that's not because of me. You know what I mean? I know that's a direct result of God working in my life. Because if God wasn't working in my life, once again, the resistance would be in full play. You know? So what happens is I fly up to Montana, and it's the first day of school, and I watch this lady that's my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend walk my son into school, and I follow her in, and I introduce myself to the teacher, and she's like, oh, are you going to be picking him up from now on? Yep. Right? And, yeah, so I kidnap him. Yeah, that's what happened. And they called the police, and I also called the police as I left and told them that I was his mother. There was no custody in place, and that papers had been filed. They will be served shortly. And it all went crazy according to plan. Like I can't plan stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that was all like, that was a God shot there too, you know? And so we start this battle for my son, and I'm not, you know, as I said, I don't want custody of him. I know that I'm a bad mom. I know that I can't show up in his life. I don't know how to do this, you know, and so I know all of these things, but I want to take some responsibility, and I want to kind of show up in his life, and I want to know him, let him know that he's important, even though I don't know how to be a mom to him. And so he gets given a guardian ad litem, which is an attorney for the child, and this lady comes to my house and interviews me, and she's like, whoa, dude, you do not look good on paper. And I was like, I know. Sorry about that. And then she goes and does an interview over at his dad's house. And after like a year and a half of fighting, they give me custody of my son. And yeah, that's crazy, right? Like, and I was shocked, and I was like, what? Dude, I don't know how to do this. And I learned how to be a mom in the rooms. You know what I mean? I came to meetings. I took my son literally with me everywhere. I never had a babysitter. He literally was always with me everywhere, you know, just right behind me. And he got sober in these rooms too, I want to say. You know what I mean? So he showed up with me, and I started learning how to be a mom. And it was crazy. He taught me, you know, just as much as the women and the men in these rooms on how to be a good parent. And today he's 20. And he's like a respectable human being, you know what I mean? Like, he has a job and a car, and he doesn't like kick puppies, and he doesn't drink or use, and you know, like he's like a legitimate human being, which is a shock to me, because like I can remember way back when like I thought that because I was an addict that he was going to be an addict, you know? And the funny thing is that like he doesn't even like cake. It makes him feel weird. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't like sugar. So it's like weird. And I'm like, what? I love food. It's crazy. But yeah, so I was blessed in that area. I was able to sponsor a couple of women. We've actually had like a really, really hard month in Phoenix. One of my sponsees died about a month ago of cancer and COPD and complications with that. My other sponsee just recently passed away last week. She committed suicide. And then we had a friend that just got in a head-on car collision the other day, and he died as well. So it's been a pretty rough month in Phoenix for sure. And man, I tell you what though, like the love that I feel in these rooms is unsurpassed. You know, like it doesn't matter if I'm in Las Vegas or if I'm in fucking Timbuktu. If there's a meeting, then I show up and it's great. Like I've always felt the love in these rooms, you know. Somewhere along the line, me and God met up. It was crazy, right? Like all of a sudden, like me just acting as if started to believe it, and I don't know when that change actually happened, but I remember being open-minded enough to see the possibilities that God was actually in my life, and a lot of people have ideas about what God is and what God isn't, and it's your opinion. I don't care. But my opinion is that God is whatever he is, and one of my sponsees actually explains it best, right? Like there's 6 blind men in a room and someone leads an elephant in, and every one of them goes up to it and touches it and has an experience with it. Not like that. Jesus, get your mind out of the gutter. He freaking laughed at that. Oh my God, you're so dirty. It's awesome. Anyway, and each one walks away from it calling it something else, thinking it's something else, believing it's something else, but what is it? An elephant. What is God? Same thing, right? We all have our own experience. And so somewhere along the line, God and I met up. And it's been crazy because, like, I often say, man, I haven't had any burning bush experiences, but, man, have I had some burning bush experiences. That's really the truth. I've got to watch many people in this program recover and watch this fellowship grow up about us and the beautiful things that happen because of this program, not just my son, but like, man, I had a GED too, right? Awesome. Yeah, good enough diploma. Heck yeah. And I was like, man, I am so tired of not making any money and busting my ass. Like, I should probably go to school. That's a great idea. And so I went to college and I got a degree, and I found out that, smart people don't get degrees. Persistent people do, And so I just kept after it, and I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And 6 years later, I get a bachelor's degree, and I'm like, okay, so I'm working full time and I have this kid and I'm going to meetings and I'm doing all of these things, and my life is getting better and it's getting better and it's getting better and it's getting better, right? Because that's what happens. And then all of a sudden I look up one day and I'm like, shit, 10 years have passed, right? And I've been sober this whole time. And, it's a beautiful experience to be able to stand up here and say that, I do want to tell you that at 8 years sober, I ended up going to Montana to get my kid back from his dad because he used to get him for the summers. And I had a week vacation up there, and it was 11 days, right? First of all, I got arrested right when I came back into town. They were like, we waiting for you. And I was like, damn it, I didn't do anything. No, I did, years ago. When I was like 15. Yeah, they waited. They had 0 fucks were given that day. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened is I actually have enough money on me to bail myself out of jail for one time, right? And I'm like, I'm out. And I have all these days, right? But I forget my shampoo and conditioner. And I'm like, they have a Walmart here. They finally built a Walmart in my hometown, which was crazy. They have a Walmart. I can go to Walmart, and Walmart's the happening spot in my hometown. And so I go in there to get the shampoo and conditioner, and I run into this woman, and it was my first boyfriend's mother. And I asked her if I could come and talk to her at her house. And she said yes, and I got the date and the time, and I said, I'm going to be here for, 10 more days or whatever. And so I went to her house, and I was terrified. But I had to make it right. You know what I'm saying? So I go up to the door, and I pray before I go up to the door, and I just ask God to give me some strength, and she lets me in, and I tell her what happened. And I take full responsibility for my part for leaving her son on the side of the road. And she, she cried, and I cried. And she said thank you at the end, which is shocking because I would not have said thank you because I'm a dick, right? But she was much kinder than I was, and she said thank you because I didn't know what happened to my son. Nobody knew. They just knew that they found him on the side of the road, and they didn't know what had happened to him. And I know that she felt some closure from that, because you could see it on her face, you know what I mean? And I felt closure from that because I didn't know how much that weighed me down in my soul until it was released from me. You know what I'm saying? The weight of that I had been carrying around for all of these years that I act like it wasn't on my 4-step. I was a little bit of a liar still, just saying. The willingness and the honesty builds, I swear. But that's what happened, you know, and I came back and I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe that I did that, you know, and it was like the thing that I was most scared of doing. And I was released from that. Like, I'm a free woman from that today. You know what I mean? Like, I still am sad about the part that I played, you know, but I don't feel the same shame that used to drive me to do things that were stupid. And God has continued to bless me in this life, you know, like, I got a job directly out of college. And the funny thing was, like, I got this job working for the city, and I can remember thinking, this is like the best job ever, right? Oh my God, I'm so excited. And like, dude, I got slapped with a discrimination suit, like, at 11 months. And I was like, I don't even just, what? Are you kidding me? And I can remember thinking, oh my God, this is a tragedy, right? This is a tragedy. And I was going through a divorce at the same time. My husband had gotten loaded and would not stop getting loaded. And like, my serenity was dying with it every single day. And I was like, oh my God, I just can't do this anymore. And I kicked him out. And then I found out I was fired from this job that I thought was the best job in the world, you know. And so life had happened all of a sudden. And here I am thinking this is a tragedy. And I end up getting this other job that paid more. Oops, crazy. That allowed me to pay all the bills when I didn't have a second income coming in, you know. And I always like to tell the story about the guy and the horses, right? So there's this guy that he raises wild horses, and what happens is him and his son, they raise these wild horses, they break them, and then they sell them. And so he has all of these horses, and something happens to the gate, and the horses get out. Everybody in town says to him, oh my God, it's such a tragedy. And he's like, I don't know that it is, right? And then the next couple of weeks pass by, and he goes out and he's riding around on one of his horses that he had left behind, and he finds more wild horses than he had before, and he brings them back, and everyone's like, oh my God, what a blessing. And he's like, man, I just don't know that it is, you know? And so his son is out there trying to break these wild horses, and one of the horses tramples his son's leg, and his son goes lame, right? And he can't really walk anymore, and everyone's like, God, what a tragedy. And he says once again, you know, I don't know if it is or not. And then a war comes, and everybody from town that's of legal fighting age and is not lame or crippled has to go, and they all die, right? So the point of that story is I don't know what's a blessing or a tragedy in my life until the end. You know, there have been plenty of things that when I was going through it, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world that could happen to me. And then like a month later you ask me and I'm like, dude, that was awesome. I'm so glad that happened because woo! You know, you're funny. You just got jokes. Because I'm telling you, it's crazy. And here I am on the other side of it going, yes, you know, and that continues to happen for me today. You know, like, I have these experiences where I'm like, man, is it good? Is it bad? It doesn't matter. It just is, you know, and we get the opportunity here to grow together, to be able to shine the light for others. And I appreciate that more than anything else. I don't know how long I talked for. Was that long enough? I feel like it's a long time.
Keep on going. An hour.
It's a really long time.
As long as you want.
Talk amongst yourselves. No, I'm joking. So I was given a gift here in these rooms, and that was, even though I didn't believe that this would work for me, I did the work, and the process is designed in such a way that even if I don't believe it's going to work, if I do the work, it happens. And on the other side of it, like here I am, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I can't imagine wanting to go out and get high anymore. Like, that's not my life today. My life today is so good that it's a testament, right? Like my life today has to be so good Otherwise, I would trade it in. You know what I mean? And I don't mind the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows, you know? Like, it's okay today. The thing is serenity is not escaping the storm. It's being the peace in the middle of it, right? And that's one thing that I've definitely had to learn here. Like, it doesn't mean my life isn't full of chaos, but it means that I don't have to participate in it, right? And that's a blessing in and of itself. So I think that's all I have.
Woo! Woo!